Good morning, everyone. Elaine Lowe and Ken Shreve here live at Investors Business Daily in Los Angeles. Today we're checking in on Apple, Celgene, and Starbucks. But first, let's take a look at those indexes, all down sharply over 2% each. The Dow down 2.4%, the S&P 500 down over 2%, and the Nasdaq also down 2.4% as we get to this huge plummet on Apple, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah, nice to be back. It's been a little while since I've been in this seat, so nice to see you again. And good morning, everybody. So yeah, kind of a rough start for the stock market today. Index is down about 2%. We've got
after a nice couple of sessions.
Yeah. I mean, a 5-session win streak for the Nasdaq looks like it's in jeopardy today. So sort of a double dose of bad news. We'll get into Apple in a second, but a sales warning from them late Wednesday, and also a very, very weak reading on the ISM Manufacturing Index. The 5-point decline was the biggest since 2008. This, of course, is fueling fears that the economy could hit a soft patch in 2019. So we'll see how the session shapes up, but sharp losses in the early going.
Right, and Apple being the big headliner, a warning on holiday quarter sales, seeing those estimates lower than previously expected, citing weak iPhone demand in China. And shares are down 9.1%, a big gap down for Apple today.
So the last time Apple reported earnings, they guided revenue for the current quarter around $91 billion. That was about the midpoint of their guidance. Now they're expecting about 84. So you're talking about, what, $7 billion lighter than what was anticipated. They talked about, weakness in or waning demand in China, people not upgrading their phones as quickly as they had been in the past. So, right when you thought all the bad news in Apple was priced in, the stock had been hit hard in recent months, and
now getting subject to a bunch of analyst price target cuts too today.
I mean, you can see the decline here. It's been a very, very sharp decline. When a stock falls that much, it's usually because of slowing growth or questions about fundamentals, and so those that were thinking that all the bad news was priced into Apple, not quite yet, because the stock is down sharply again today.
Right, and seeing that 200-day cross above the 50-day line in recent weeks, also not a good sign technically.
True.
All right, so moving on, Bristol Myers Squibb is put in a bid, a $74 billion bid to acquire biotech giant Celgene.
Yeah, Celgene up sharply on this news. I'm not sure that this deal was expected, but very, very big merger news in the biotech sector today.
Huge gap.
Yeah, I mean, the combined company here, they're going to have 9 drugs with annual sales each of $1 billion. Of course, Celgene's flagship drug is Revlimid, which is a multiple myeloma treatment. Through the first 3 months of 2018, this drug did $7 billion sales alone. So the combination of Bristol Myers and Celgene is going to certainly create a cancer giant. Yeah.
And taking a look at shares, well above both of its moving averages today. Huge gap up about 26% so far.
Yeah, Bristol Myers down sharply on the news. I think the market probably expecting or thinking that they may have paid too high a price tag for Celgene, but Bristol Myers below its 50-day moving average still, but nice gap up for Celgene today.
And then moving on to another stock that, like Apple, has a lot of exposure in China, that would be Starbucks, which is trading lower today. China's a huge market for them. About approximately, the American market's still about 3 or 4 times bigger than the China market. It was about $4 billion in the American market versus 1.2 in the last quarter. But that's a big area of growth for them. And Starbucks trading down today, perhaps in sympathy with Apple.
Yeah, I mean, this is when Apple is talking about slowing demand in China. Certainly, there are a lot of American companies with pretty big exposure in China, and like you said, Starbucks is really China's the second largest market for Starbucks outside of the U.S. And I didn't realize this, but Starbucks has a partnership with Alibaba to deliver coffee in a lot of Chinese cities. So a lot of good news from Starbucks in China, at least in recent quarters. course, but the stock is getting hit hard today over, concerns that the economy is slowing there, and that could impact business at Starbucks as well. So you can see a chart for Starbucks, break below the 50-day moving average recently. It tried to rally back above the 50-day line, got turned away. So volatile price action today, basically retesting a last breakout area here. So the chart hasn't completely fallen apart, but definitely having trouble at its 50-day moving average.
All right, so that's definitely one to watch in the coming weeks. All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you're following us across all of our social platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube in particular, because Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve here will have an Ask Me Anything, an AMA, up on YouTube. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll have more details on that for you soon. All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow.